Norway, where potential outshines even the northern lights, is a beacon of wealth, overflowing with natural treasures like oil, gas, and minerals. In 2018, this land of breathtaking landscapes made a stunning find: 70 billion metric tons of phosphate-rich rock, marking one of the greatest mineral discoveries in Europe. This trillion-dollar discovery could revolutionize everything from agriculture to the high-tech sector. The government, media, and headlines are optimistic, proclaiming that the best days are yet to come and that Norway's wealth could soar into the stratosphere, potentially making it the richest country on Earth. But what if this whole story is nothing more than a beautiful lie? Norway's economy today presents a different picture than many perceive. Sure, their economic model is admired by many, with its high GDP per capita. But a high GDP doesn't always mean its people are rolling in wealth. Norway faces demographic challenges with an aging population and declining birth rates, adding strain on its younger workforce. This situation presents productivity hurdles, especially as the country gambles all in on its natural resources sector. The discovery of phosphate-rich rock in Rogaland is an extraordinary find. Still, there's more to it than meets the eye, as you'll soon discover. In the mining world, it's not just about what you find, but also how much you can use. Adding to the complexity, Norway's plan to mine the seabed shows greed for more resources while dangerously ignoring the risks to marine life. This could lead to devastating outcomes, including the extinction of unknown species. This is why Norway will never succeed at all. In the past, Norway was an average European nation, not typically known for its wealth. Then, in 1969, striking oil and gas in the North Sea changed everything, shifting its economy from a fishing focus to an energy powerhouse. Its innovative model for handling this newfound wealth set Norway apart. Instead of letting these profits only enrich a few, Norway channeled a big portion for the public's benefit. This smart move involves setting up the government pension fund global, ensuring long-term economic health and steering clear of the corruption and mismanagement troubles common in other oil-rich nations. But this model has flaws. Norway's economy looks great on paper, but the real story is more shocking. Think of them like a high roller in a casino, betting big on gas and natural resources. These bets have paid off so far, but they're ignoring the rest of the game. They're so fixated on one winning hand that they miss the action at the other tables. Norway might be setting itself up for a fall in banking everything in its natural resources. While focusing solely on mining, they overlook a real danger: a crushing tax system silently chipping away at its core. The national income tax rate, regional taxes, and other charges mean even average people are handing over more than half their paycheck to the government. It doesn't stop there. Sales or value-added tax, VAT, is through the roof. We're talking 25% on most things you buy. Want a beer? That's going to cost you even more. While great for public services, this heavy tax load is squeezing everyday Norwegians' wallets. They're feeling the pinch, with less cash to spend or save. It's like the government's playing a balancing act, trying to keep the country wealthy, but at the cost of its people's financial freedom. In Norway, the youth are supposed to be the future, right? But the truth is, they're heading towards a demographic cliff. The birth rates? They're hitting rock bottom. The fertility rate in Norway in 2023 is 1.5 children per woman. Norway needs a wave of newborns to avoid becoming one big old people's country. People in Norway are increasingly hesitating to have children, and when they do, they often limit their families to just one child. These decisions to delay or forego having kids are sounding an alarm, creating a ripple effect that's putting Norway's younger workforce in the spotlight. They're now grappling with unique challenges that are testing the very fabric of society. Rising unemployment in 2024 is bad news for young job seekers. It's more than a tight job market. It's about stability in an uncertain economy. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Another factor upsetting the balance is mental health, which is hitting Norway's youth hard. Many young Norwegians find themselves trapped outside of work and education due to mental health issues, ranging from anxiety and depression to more complex disorders. Projects like Lost Millennials are key players in this struggle, offering targeted support and strategies to help these individuals overcome their challenges. To make things worse, Norway's labor market, with its fast-paced changes and a strong focus on oil, is making it tough for young people to keep up. As industries and tech evolve, so do the skills needed to succeed. Many need help choosing between traditional industries or struggling in eco-friendly areas that lack support. This narrows their job market, leading to a skills-job mismatch, diminishing their motivation and career prospects. The need for more diverse, green job opportunities is discouraging them from learning new, essential skills. It's a bad scene, not just for them, but for the economy. They're worried about not having a say in setting their own laws, managing power, or controlling banking, especially with decisions like border control being deferred to the EU. This situation is leading them to question where their country is heading. People are seriously stressed about their children's future. What's going wrong that's hitting kids the hardest? This isn't just a minor issue. It's a growing crisis casting a shadow over the country's economy and a topic worth talking about in our next videos. After all, the panic alarm's going off instead of backing their youth and brainstorming ways to boost the birth rate. Norway's got its eyes set elsewhere. You guessed it, more natural resources. Since their 2018 discovery of phosphate-rich rock, that's all they can think about. The government is hyping up Norway as the next global big shot. Still, the truth is, this narrative might be a glossy cover-up, a hard pill of reality that they're finding too bitter to swallow. Norge Mining's discovery in southwest Norway marks its debut as a top global resource supplier. Picture a colossal phosphate treasure chest packed with 70 billion tons. This means Norway isn't content with a supporting role anymore. It's stepping into the limelight, especially in the electric vehicle and renewable energy sectors. Jan Christian Vestre, as a Minister of Trade and Industry, stated that Norway was obligated to the long term, prioritizing it over quick profits. They asserted that they had sufficient phosphorus reserves to power the world's batteries and solar panels for the next 100 years. With these claims, they're not just predicting the future without further research. They're claiming what other people want to hear, which is a tactic that 99% of politicians use to lift the morale of their people. Don't be mistaken. Norway is far from a crisis-stricken country reliant on gas, needing to mine mountains and seas endlessly. By early 2023, it had 1,769 hydropower plants with a combined capacity of 33,691 megawatts. Typically, these plants generate about 88% of the country's total power production. This shows that Norway already has the resources it needs. For some reason, there's still a push for more. But why the rush? China, the world's leader in phosphates, produced roughly 85 million tons in 2022. This dominance is a potential threat to global supply chains, especially for countries heavily reliant on these imports. Adding to the tension is the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and the consequential disruption of the Nord Stream pipeline, which has sent shockwaves through Europe's energy and resource stability. Norway's decision goes beyond just grabbing an economic chance. It's about forging a path towards energy and resource self-reliance, especially now when Europe is extremely vulnerable. They aim to be the captains of their own destiny, not puppets swayed by external forces. But there's more to the story. Norway Mining, the company behind this venture, clarifies that out of the 70 billion tons, only about 2 billion are actually profitable to mine. And here's where it gets more complicated. The big numbers they've been throwing around are resources, not reserves. In mining terms, that's a huge difference. Resources are like having potential minerals. Reserves are the minerals you can actually bank on. Plus, what is the true amount of extractable phosphate? That's still a mystery until they start the actual mining. Norway needs to catch up on its identity. Instead of careful planning, they dive headfirst, chasing immediate gains and overlooking the future. But what about the here and now? What about the youngsters watching their country become a giant mining pit? With all the controversy, you'd think that Norway might pause and think of new ways to move forward, right? But in 2023, they made a move that shook things up and had experts worried big time. Now they're looking to mine the seabed, planning to dig as deep as 1,500 meters. With just 5 to 10% of the ocean explored, mining these unknown depths is extremely risky. They're blinded by power and losing touch with what they're about. A country that treasures its land, waters, and people. Seeing these decisions makes you wonder, are they really moving forward, or are they about to leave a permanent scar on Norway's beautiful natural legacy? Deep in the Arctic Ocean, Between Jan Mayen Island and the Svalbard archipelago lies an expanse of 280,000 square kilometers filled with untapped minerals and metals. This underwater realm features soft seabeds, towering ridges, and underwater mountains. It's a place of constant change, where seabed volcanoes erupt, continually adding new layers to the ocean floor. This scene, which sounds like something from a sci-fi movie, was only fully described years after humans first walked on the moon. Among its most fascinating features are the chimney-like rock formations discovered in 1977. These chimneys could be a gold mine for metals needed in technology. But what mining them might do to the environment is a big, frightening question mark. Norway's decision to mine copper, cobalt, gold, and other rare metals from the seabed has stirred the waters of controversy. Down below, the seafloor is packed with manganese crusts and dormant chimney fields rich with minerals. But here's where it gets interesting. Manganese crust grows incredibly slowly on these underwater mountainsides. To get to these minerals, you'd have to scrape them right off the mountains. The downside? Under the waves, there's a whole other world filled with life. In the dark depths of the Arctic Ocean, bizarre creatures and bacteria swarm around chimneys that release metallic mist. Mining these spots could disrupt the unique underwater ecosystem. This area is a haven for sponges, corals, and fascinating jellyfish who need this habitat for survival, including the northern sea nettle, the massive lion's mane jellyfish, and the unique four-tentacled Bathychorus. As Norway forges ahead into uncharted territory, it risks leaving a lasting scar on a world beneath the waves, where the balance of life hangs in a fragile, unseen harmony. As big political parties and companies are charging ahead with mining plans, the young Norwegians are left waiting for jobs where they can really showcase their uniqueness and achieve their dreams. This whole deep-sea mining plan could take decades, and there's no guarantee of what they'll end up with. The stakes are high, and a ton of cash is involved, causing some serious tension. Even the older generation is looking the other way, more concerned with their pensions and retirement life than the planet or the youth. Will more protests spark change? Can the government stop this mistake and pick a new direction? Sadly, it might be too late. Norway's future could become just a shadow of its past promise, a place where dreams, not just money, mattered.